Hello everyone. Last week we discussed about how we can represent some features of health in computer environments. Where we talk about how we can represent road using line, represent building or a town using polygon, and some features like shops, maybe um, like the one we have on this topo sheet. I told us that the shrub that we have here, the vegetation and the scatter cultivations that we have here can be represented using points, and the river can be represented using line based on the weight. As you can see, this one, the weight is not that much. That's why they represent it using line. The contour also is being represented using line feature. The road, the major road, the footpath are represented using line. These are the settlements. We can call them scatter compound. If you check the legend of the map, you see they call them scatter compound. They are being represented using points. So, and I told us that one of the difference of geographic information system to other information system is its ability to integrate spatial data and non-spatial data together. Whatever analysis we want to perform, we have to bring in the spatial data and non-spatial data together. And what I mean by non-spatial data is when you look at this road now, what will differentiate it from other road? What is the condition? What is the length? And many other information that are not spatial in nature concerning this particular road. Is it a tar road? Is it an tar road? All these kind of things. Is it sleepy? Is it flat? How is the terrain? How is the condition? What type of pothole are available or can we find along this road? So those are the non-spatial data that by the time we put it together with the spatial data, it will help us to perform a lot of analysis. Like these settlements now, we might want to differentiate this polygon. It is polygon which is representing the spatial entity, but it doesn't have non-spatial entity that might be useful to a particular analysis that we might want to do. Like this settlement now, I may want to differentiate it from other settlements using its name. How will I bring the name into the GIS environment so that by the time I'm producing my map or by the time I want to carry out an analysis, I will know that a particular settlement is the one that need a particular facility. Maybe when we are doing facility siting or simulation of siting of facilities. So among other things, like if I want to move from this settlement now, how will I call the name? Will I just call the location from this name, from this settlement to another settlement? What will make it differ from another settlement? Technically, it has been differ based on the location, but a format that a layman can easily understand is by calling the name. By the time I put the name, which is non-spatial data, someone will know that okay, you are talking about this particular village. The same thing applicable to points. There may be a situation whereby maybe you just digitize some points just the way I have it here on my map, and peradventure I have to add some information about them. Maybe um, the size of the scrub, the height of the scrub. I might want to include it into those points so that it will be differentiated one from another. So I can easily put in those information in my spatial data through the use of attribute table. So today I'll be taking us through how to access attribute table and how to fill in certain information based on the type of analysis that we want to perform into the GIS environment. So if you look at this scrub, by the time you right click on it, you see open attributes table. This is the database that we have in GIS. That when we're talking about the art of GIS, they call it database. We have spatial database and non-spatial database. So combination of spatial database and non-spatial database is what we have here. So these are non-spatial database. Here we can add many attributes of these features, as many as possible, as many as required, based on the analysis that we want to perform. As this line feature, point feature with the scrub has its own attribute table, so does the road, which is a line feature, has its own attribute table. The same thing as settlements, it also has its own attribute table. So if I want to differentiate this settlement from another, let me see. I think we are having only one settlement. This is only one features, which is this one. There is no other one. Assuming I want to add another settlement so that I can differentiate between this and this. So I will have to digitize this one. I can still remember that I still believe that you still remember how to go about digitizing. So let me come here and start my editor, start editing. So, and the last module on the editor 2 is create features. Once I click on that, it will show me the create features dialog box, from which I'll pick the features I want to digitize. You can see how my cursor look before I click on that. Once I click on this, my cursor will definitely change. So from there I can now digitize around the shape at every change in direction. So when you are dealing with irregular shape, caution should be taken in checking out the direction of each point you are placing your node, so that at least your digitizing will represent as accurate as possible what you are really trying to digitize. So we have another settlement. So if I should open the attribute table of this settlement, you can see we have two entities there, and one is being selected. Say one of two selected. So I can now save my edit and stop my edit. So I'm having two settlements here. If you check other ones too, you see the number that we are having. So now I want to include the name of all these settlements so that they can be differentiated based on their name from one another. So what I'll just do is I'll come to my attribute table. There is no field that is carrying the name, so I'll have to put a name that will be carrying the name. So what I'll just do is I'll come to this table option, this drop down here, you see add field. So if I should place add field, I want the field to be name. Under this data type, there is a lot of options there. There are many more that we can have. That's the reason why we have little like this, is because we are using shapefile. So if you are using geodatabase, you will have more of them. Short integer, it has a range of values that one can use between -273 to around 4000 8 something that you can input, the value that this short integer can take. So any value that is more than 6 digits, so you make use of long integer. And don't forget, integer, it will not produce, or it will not allow point to be taking place. So this one is used when you know the position, the number of decimal places that you're going to have. So you make use of floats. That's when the number you want to input into the attributes table is going to have maybe 3 decimal places or 4 decimal places. You make use of floats. But double is still it collect the same data type as float, but this time around you don't know the number of decimal places that you're going to have. You are not specifying the number of decimal places that you're going to have, so you make use of double. So the same thing goes for text. We know text, like anything text, and the beauty of it is that text can accommodate all the aforementioned, including the dates. So we know that the dates, how the dates used to look like, that's where you have date. So the format is just what differentiates it from the regular date that we might know. So but for this, we have a name, and what you want to input into it is text, particularly the names. So we make it to the text, and the length, you can reduce it, you can increase it based on the size of what you are inputting. So I'll make this one to be, let's say, let me make it 25. So now if I want to start typing this name, let me see which one will come first. So this one, you can see it has been selected, danger. So if I try to click on it, it won't give me the access to type in anything unless I start my editing. That is, I should be in editing mode. So if I should click on this, by the time I click on this, it's granted me the access to type. So the name of that is of course in capital letter, danger. So the same thing, I'll do the other one, which is tudun wada, das tudun wada, sorry, tudun wada. So I think with that we are good to go. And once I click on save edit, stop edit, the name will be saved. So if you have any other attribute of this town, maybe the population, the area of the landmass of the settlement, you can always create a field to fill in those information. So the same thing applicable to road. The same way we treat the road is still the same way we are going to treat, I mean the same way we treat the settlement is still the same way we are going to treat road. So let us assume we want to create name for road. Let's say I come to my add field, I call it name as well. So but this time around it will also be text. I can reduce the length, and I can also increase it based on the demand. So here now I'm going to start my editing. I'm having two roads to be precisely. Which one is the first one? So I'll call this one danger road. Danger, let me make it capital letter, whichever one, danger road. So the other one, what should I call this one? I think it's lead to Dabai. I'll call it Dabai road. Then but there's something I would like to call your attention to. You can see when I'm in editing session, the add field button will not be active. Please note that when you are in editing session you can't create a field. So I'll just stop my editing, but instead of me come to save edit and stop edit, I'll just go to stop edit straight away. It's just a shortcut. The software will ask me, do I want to save the edit that I've done? I will say yes. So I use one stone to kill two birds. So the same thing applicable to the scrub. You can always fill in the details that you have or the details that you want to work with. But if you look at this road, it's having the same color, but on the map they are not the same thing. So what about if you want to differentiate them, like to show that they are not the same thing? So what we will do is we'll right click on this, you come to properties. So by the time you read the property, you come to symbology, and under this show you pick category. It's now asking us which field do we want to use to categorize. Then we'll pick the name. We want to use name to categorize. So once you pick that, you uncheck this, then you add all values. You can see it has categorized them based on the name. So I'll just say apply, and I'll say okay. So I have those names being categorized with different colors. But this first one here, the what's it called, the format we have there is not the same format that's what is on the topo sheet. We can always change that by double clicking on this particular line. So when you double click on this particular line, you have a symbol selector. The symbol selector here, you can pick whichever type that you think you desire. Sorry, I think that one is for this, sorry, the danger road. Sorry, my system is off. So this is supposed to be the one for the danger road. So by the time I pick the one for the danger road, you see it resemble exactly what is on the map. So the one for this other road, so we can always change that. There is a format for that too that one can easily pick. Let's see. So this one will do. You can see it look just exactly as what is there. So the same thing applicable to settlement. You can always change the symbol if the one there is not you are not okay with the one there. I think it's action of something, yeah. So I think this one looks more of what is there. The same thing as scrub. The scrub here, this is symbol selector, but if you look through, you might not be able to see the one that represent the RiskRub, the way this point, what we dotted here, really looks like. You can see. So but you can always double click, edit symbol character maker. When you click on this character maker, it will give you an option to change the font, but the one we are looking for is under this, starting from this 1621. You see it somewhere around that place, but let's check through if you can quickly see it and make use of it. You can see some, this for palm, and this for marshy, also marshy land. So you can check through and see whichever this is it here. You can see that. So and you can always change the color. I think that's green. Then we have it. You can also increase the font size so that I can see it clearly. So we have it there. So if you uncheck now, you see the scroll. That's not the part that is not too clear, but that's the representation. You can always change the color to something bold, so that the color that is very darker, so that you can easily see it. Can you see that? And you can increase the font so that the thing will come up. So can you see that? So that's how to change the symbology. And another thing I would like us to look at is assuming you detail some points on your map and you want to auto generate the coordinate for those points. It's very easy. So what you're going to do is you just come to the point, you create the field. We know that instead of writing all, I will just write X for longitude. The data type will be double because I don't know the number of decimal places that it's going to give. So I'll create for Y2. Y, I'll call that's our latitude is Y, so I'll make it to be double 2. So this time around I want to auto generate the coordinate, the XY value for these points. No matter the number of points you have, you can easily auto generate it at a go. So what I will just do is I'll come to this heading, this column here, then I'll right click, I'll go to calculate geometry. Under the calculate geometry, is asking me what do I want to really calculate. I'll tell the software that I want to calculate for X. The unit is telling me degree decimal, and if you look at the unit here, it's degree decimal. But there are other units that one can make use of, but you cannot access them unless your field data type is text. That's the only situation you can access them. So here now I'll just click OK. It auto generated the latitude for me. I'll do the same thing for the longitude for me. I'll do the same thing for the latitude. Calculate geometry. This time I'm calculating for Y. Then I will calculate geometry. You can see it has automatically calculated the value, the X, Y value for all the points that we've dotted. The same thing as I said earlier, that if you want to calculate for using another unit aside decimal degree, let me calculate for log, but this time around, instead of my data type being double, I'll make it to be text. So I'll just come here, I'll right click, I'll come to calculate geometry. What do I want to calculate? Longitude is X. So the unit, I can change the unit based on whatever I want it to be. So let's assume I pick this. it automatically calculates that. Can you see that? So that is that about introduction to attribute table, because there's a lot of things that we have to learn under this attribute table, but we cannot learn it as a go. As time goes on, we'll be learning it one after the other, because if we are to learn it as a go, we won't know the intricating functions of it to other aspects of GIS. So today we are going to stop our class here today. So thank you very much for your time.